Baby, we're back. We're back. We're back. Steven Silas was not lying. All right. Steven Silas was not lying when he said that the Houston Rockets were going to be tough to guard. All right. Now, I apologize. I just got back from a little family birthday. That happened a couple hours ago. We've just been preparing. What is up, everybody? Hope you guys are having a great Sunday night. This is going to make, I think, everybody's Monday a little bit easier. We got KT in the chat here. What is up to my boy, Gio De La Cruz, future starting third baseman for the Chicago Montreal Expos, Toronto Blue Jays. How you doing, Gio? So, yeah, man. I feel like it's safe to say we're back. Now, I want to – this feels super unprofessional here to have – I literally just Googled Rockets versus Spurs box score. But anytime I do ESPN, I feel like they play those just ads that nobody wants. And sometimes they have volume and it's just – it's just annoying. So now take this – we're in preseason, right? So when you're in preseason, you're taking it all with a grain of salt in general. But I got to say, man, the Rockets balled their asses off today. There really wasn't a dull moment in the entire game. Now, granted, the San Antonio Spurs will most likely be – I think they'll be one of the two worst teams in the entire NBA. But nonetheless, we saw what we wanted to see. And I can't be more excited. And I hope you guys feel the same exact way. We got L Comedy and OG down here in the chat. Bari Tari connection already clicking. I saw that. What did Jabari say? Or it was Jabari or Tari chimed in about the nickname. I think he said like Jabari Safari. I like Jatari Safari because you combine them both. But yeah, they're connecting. I think Tari Eason just solidified his spot as far as valuable role minutes. And I got to say, the downside of this might be the departure of Jae'Sean Tate. Now, I'm a huge Jae'Sean Tate supporter because when I first started making Houston Rocket videos on the channel, one of my first ever videos was Jae'Sean Tate. It was a Jae'Sean Tate video. So 26, he'll be 27 later this month. And that really is my only issue is, I love Jae'Sean Tate. I thought he was kind of a perfect complementary piece for us when we had James Harden and co. Thinking, all right, man, we got an overseas player. We got a 4-year college grad. I think he's going to be able to produce right away. And what did he do? Well, he made all NBA first team in his rookie season, or all rookie first team in his rookie season. So the issue with Jae'Sean Tate is it looks like we have a younger, better shooting ability player in Tari Eason. So the guaranteed contract of Bruno, which also was news today, that might mean that definitely means the departure of somebody. I don't know if they're trying to combine a Derek Favors, Eric Gordon to get a deal going. I'm not quite sure how they plan on getting this roster down, but I got to say, man, Tari Eason is making the Jae'Sean Tate situation a little bit more prevalent. Offense was smooth. Defense was great. Exactly, man. And we saw exactly what we want. A lot of what you guys are saying right now from Tari Eason and Jabari Smith Jr., specifically Tari Eason on the defensive end, man. The guy was everywhere. It was just like Summer League 2.0. Tari Eason was lit. He was everywhere. That's who I want. I want him. I want Tari Eason starting, man. All love, all respect to Eric Gordon, but especially if you're still struggling to find a backup point guard or solidify a backup point guard role, why not make it a little bit easier, get another ball handler, experienced ball handler nonetheless, in Eric Gordon out there. So, yeah, we got Gio at the Raptors game. The Raptors also balled their asses off. So, shout out to the Toronto Raptors. None of you guys want to hear that. I got a lot of love for the Raptors, though. Bari and Tara, what is up, Jared? EG 6-man, Tari start, 100%, taking the words out of my mouth. What's up, Daquan? What's up, Joshua? We got a bunch of OGs in the chat, man. I agree. Unfortunately, I do think that Eric Gordon starts, but I really don't think it lasts. And if Tari Eason, why not? Let's just get right into the Rocket stats right here. If Tari Eason continues to do it, this doesn't show shooting splits. We're out of here, bro. We're out of here. It should still be showing it. Man, ESPN they have so much potential to not mess up their crap, but of course it plays with volume. Why would it not play with volume? So let me know in the chat if it ever is. Why am I on the Toronto Raptors, dumbass? Oh my goodness. Wait, hold on. We got to see how Kai Soto is doing real quick. Oh, he's barely playing, but he's feasting. Oh man, Kai Soto is one hell of a basketball player, but that's neither here nor there. All right, now we're back. We don't have a stupid video ad with noise playing. If Tari Eason's going to be going 9 of 13, 1 or 2 from downtown, giving you 21 and 10 off of the bench with some defensive statistics, I have a hard time believing that Eric Gordon will be starting for much longer. What's up, Deed? Ty? You think Ty's the guy? Whoa. Little rhyme there. Jae'Sean Nix really isn't a bad basketball player in any way, shape, or form. I just think I might have to agree with you there. I have this love for Jae'Sean Nix. Like, as a Rockets guy, I'm sure you guys all feel the same. Like, I just want I just want it to work out. I don't know. I guess it might not happen in Houston though. What's up, John Doe? What's the Jae'Sean Tate situation? So Jay was injured. This isn't, if you missed the game and you're just checking the box score out, it's not like they're, Jae'Sean Tate's. It's not like Stone's up right now taking calls on Jae'Sean Tate. But yeah, Suns losing to Australia. Shout out to the 36ers though, man. My man Jared, one of my Instagram follows. I love all my Instagram follows. I love all my viewers. But I might be a little bit biased to the people who follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My Twitter is not at Jackson Ultra, so let's massage the like button. And all my links are down below. Would you trade Eric Gordon, Tate, KJ for Chris Middleton? Dude, I'd do that in a heartbeat, but they're not doing it. They're all, unfortunately, Daquan, they're all set with that. Unfortunately. What 5 do you think are getting cut, dude? Oh man, it's so difficult, dude. Look at how deep this team really can get. And Bruno just balled his ass off as well. Usman Garuba was a force on the defensive end. KJ Martin Jr. had his glimpses for sure. We still got Boban on the roster. I hope Boban's gone, dude. I hope Boban's gone. I got respect for Boban and everything, but the only reason people are saying to keep Boban is for sales, and it's like, I don't think we're gonna have an issue with selling tickets and making money in the next year or two. Like, I really don't see that even being an issue this year. So I don't really think like keeping Boban for a social aspect, considering Houston's a top 5 populated city. I don't really get it. L Comedy with a great question here on Willie Cauley-Stein. Willie Cauley-Stein was signed. He was supposed to be fighting for a roster spot right now. Let's check the news station because there was no sign of him at media day either. They might just be all set with Willie Cauley-Stein this early on. I'm not quite sure. It's a great question, L Comedy. Tari or Tate? I'm going Tari every day of the week. Jae'Sean Tate's a player I want if we're competitive. But I think, unfortunately, for Jae'Sean Tate, we're a little bit too young. I think he's probably, if we had a 24-year-old Jae'Sean Tate, I think they might be a little bit more forgiving. But for right now, dude, Jae'Sean Tate, I think he might be on the wire. And to be honest with you, you compare him with Eric Gordon, you compare him with Derek Favors, you can unload those 2 fatty contracts in Eric Gordon and Derek Favors. Not that we're worried about money or anything. But Jae'Sean Tate's like the perfect kind of throw-in piece to get you some extra value. So I don't think Jae'Sean Tate's straight up like worth a first-round pick straight out of the gate. But it's going to be interesting. That as Gio's pointing out here, minutes distribution off of the bench is going to be tricky. And that's why we were proclaiming so much in yesterday afternoon. Was it after? I don't think I actually went live yesterday. Friday's live stream, we were talking about how that trade, that Sterling Brown, Marquise Chris, Trey Bird, David Waba trade, I think we all can agree if we wanted to keep one of those 4 pieces, it was going to be David Waba because of his defensive presence. But that's why you got guys like Tari Eason now. So that was a trade we kind of had to do straight up. Teo Maladon, I'm not quite sure if we have an update on Teo Maladon, but I mean, look at how deep that is right there. You could make an argument for literally every single player on this list making the roster except maybe Trevor Hudgens. And there are still guys like Willie Cauley-Stein, Derek Favors, Teo Maladon who didn't play. So I highly anticipate it's 11-11 Make-A-Wish. I highly anticipate people to be getting moved here relatively quickly. Probably, I would say in this week, but definitely before the regular season. Defensive is improving, but I think they gave up a lot of open threes. So when we get out of preseason here and we, like I said at the beginning of this stream, man, it's awesome to put up 134 points. But the San Antonio Spurs are going to be one of the worst two teams in the league. I don't think you can really argue that. Maybe you could argue they'll be like the fifth worst team because of how good of a coach Greg Popovich is. Maybe these guys are a little bit more ready, but the Spurs are a bottom feeder right now. They're definitely tanking for Vic. They're definitely tanking to find their franchise piece right now. And so, I'm sure once we play a little bit more rounded defenses, a little bit more talented teams, it's not going to be this easy, but you're going to see a bunch of games like this. What's up, Ricardo? Nice to see you, man. I'm doing good. How about yourself? Yeah, as Marcus alludes to right here, Tate and EG on the trade block. We got so many forwards. If the Rockets end up good, he's a perfect fit. My only issue is his age here, because the Houston Rockets being good, it's not going to happen this year. He's 33. He'll be 34 at the end of this season. He'll be 34 in 2 months. So I think with that being said, I mean, if he wanted to come back, trade him to a contender, right? Get some value for him, maybe Jae'Sean Tate, maybe KJ Martin's in that trade, one or the other, and re-sign Eric Gordon on a cheaper contract if he wants to come out, finish his career with Houston. Maybe Houston starts improving statistically, analytically, like as Daquan says here, if we actually were to make the play-in tournament, we trade away Eric Gordon before the trade deadline, maybe you got guys like, I know I'm not too big on James Harden returning, but like James Harden, Eric Gordon return, guys like that once we start trying to fill out the rest of the roster. But, we got a lot of moves here to make. Ty over Knicks. KJ's probably gone. Eric Gordon's value is definitely deteriorating. And I thought this was going to happen last year, yet Eric Gordon had one of the best three-point percentages heading into the All-Star break. This man was shooting over 40%. This man was leading three-point percentage for a decent chunk of the beginning part of the season. So Eric Gordon was probably the guy you should trade last year. But with all these young guns, I still think, like, at the end of the day, Eric Gordon's providing value. He is just eating up some minutes. How many minutes did Eric Gordon get tonight? 16. I mean, yeah, you don't see too many guys getting huge minutes tonight. My favorite player tonight, it's hard to go with not Tari Eason. I think you got to go with Jabari Smith Jr. or Tari Eason. I think one or the other is definitely the answer here. Definitely some sleepers with Şengün. He had a really solid basketball game. He did have a bunch of turnovers. Jacob's on that list too, but I think you got to look at Jabari or Tari. I think Tari was probably a little bit more efficient, but 5 threes from Jabari, you can just feel he has that confidence, man. And this is the exact type of game that you want heading into the regular season. This is the exact type of game you want. I'm not saying that the Rockets don't have a shot at the play-in tournament. I just don't think it's something that really is – it's not something I need. I don't need the Rockets to make the play-in tournament. I think that it is better to start winning sooner rather than later. So I think at the end of the day, if the Houston Rockets are competitive this season, you do end up making the play-in tournament, or you're at least, because of how deep the West is, man, it's really deep. If you're at least competing for it all the way up until the end of the season, that's awesome. But you got to keep in mind, man, you want to stop losing at some point. All right, take a look at Detroit. Detroit's probably a year ahead of us just because of how many veterans they have. I feel like they started their rebuild officially early on because, we didn't really start it until, we trade Harden. You make the move with Kevin Porter Jr. You have some nice pieces, guys like Jae'Sean Tate, Christian Wood. But I think that the Houston Rockets official rebuild it started then, but like, you can only do so much mid-season when you're like, all right, we just lost our best player, we just lost our franchise guy. So you look at Detroit right now, they're a playing team. I think we're just a year away from it. The Houston Rockets won't be the worst team in the league though. Jae'Sean Nix is a guy, man, and I was just talking about him not too long ago on this stream. Jae'Sean Nix is going to make it difficult, I would imagine, on Ty. But I think if Ty can even just be slightly below him where you feel confident with running with Ty as your backup point guard, that's why we're so big on this channel saying, put Eric on that bench, dude. Put Eric on the bench, pair him with Ty. This way you have two ball handlers, you have two playmakers, you have two guys who can facilitate when needed. I just think putting Eric Gordon on the bench with a guy like Ty, or even if Jae'Sean ends up getting the look over him, I think that's beneficial for everybody. Tari and KJ are the threes of the future. I think moving Garuba to the backup 4 as a backup to Bari. I like that, man. We saw a lot of nice stuff from Usman Garuba this summer in EuroLeague. And I feel like, rebound-wise, he's solid. 2 blocks tonight. I want to see more than 1 or 0 points. I want to see more than 1 shot, though. That's something I do want to see from Usman Garuba. And a lot of people on Twitter were talking about that today, saying, the whole – we literally just have so many forwards, dude. We just have so many forwards. But the Bruno Fernando guaranteed contract for 4 years, just like Garrison last season, it kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say it limits you, but it kind of, it makes it a little bit more complicated. John Doe, the best route for you is Stream East. If you had difficulties watching tonight's game, Stream East. I have Summer League. I have what is that? League Pass. I have League Pass. I wasn't anticipating on getting League Pass. I probably was gonna do it anyways, but I got a credit card statement like 2 days ago saying I woke up and it was like NBA has charged you $100 for League Pass. I'm like, I didn't know it was on auto renewal, but shit. All right, I guess we have League Pass for this season. Tari knows exactly what he's doing, as Art's saying here, and it's only a matter of time, man. Rebounds good for the Rockets. Raps at Rockets next Friday. So the issue with the summer, stop saying that. The issue with the preseason is that this feels really good. It might be a little bit different for us because we're a rebuilding team and we're a team that isn't like at the start of our rebuild. Like, the rebuild's in progress here. We won't be rebuilding for more than a season. This time next year, no matter how the Rockets do this upcoming season, we won't be talking about a rebuild at this time next season. So it's a little bit different for us because we all kind of want to see guys like Jae'Sean Nix, Usman Garuba, Ty Washington Jr., as opposed to maybe the Golden State Warriors where you're just kind of looking to finalize rotation. Some guys are finishing or fighting for roster spots, but the preseason gets a little bit boring towards the later end. The good news is we're less than 3 weeks away from the start of Houston Rockets basketball. We're 2.5 weeks away. So we only got 2.5 weeks, and at least we have live basketball. Detroit's been rebuilding pretty much for the same time as Houston. I just feel like they, especially with that Killian Hayes draft pick at 7, I just feel like they were a little bit ahead of us because we had James Harden. I think the Rockets are a lottery team, Marcus. I think we are a lottery team, unfortunately. I don't really see the defense improving that drastically. However, in today's day and age, man, you never know. If Tari and Jabari play like they do tonight, obviously no one's worried about Jalen Green, KPJ, but, you continue to see that jump with Alperen Şengün. The bench does their job. You see a couple of breakout players. Nothing's impossible, but I do think that our defense we're at least a year away from being competitive in every game. There will be some games, as there are for every team this year, where it's like, that one kind of sucked. But the Houston Rockets will have plenty more. That was a great game, like tonight, just in the regular season. Josh Christopher, another guy a lot of us are keeping our eye on. 6 of 10 tonight, 3 or 4 from downtown's an important stat because when you look at Josh Christopher's stats last year, like, would anybody really have guessed he shot, I guess if we want to round up, it's 30% from downtown? But I never felt like Josh Christopher from downtown was a liability at any point last season. So I feel like that 30 percentage it's a little misleading. But Josh Christopher is a force to be reckoned with, man. Gary Bird getting cut. Yeah, the issue is he's got 3 more years of guaranteed money. So Garrison was a move last year where I saw it as, all right, we shouldn't have done this. I personally don't think we should have signed Garrison Matthews to guaranteed money. However, it's such small amounts of money where the Houston Rockets kind of have this abundance. We're looking at an abundance. And, if Houston were to get competitive this year or next season and you have Gary as your, like, 10th man on your rotation, I guess that's their thought process with it. But I would much rather, continue to roll with Tari, KJ off of the bench, Josh Christopher, the deal. I didn't even know the Houston Rockets had an app. So it looks like I have to download the Houston Rockets app. That's good for them. I liked how Nick's played today. He just needs to be better defensively and be more confident. If they give him a shot, man, I just think if he's down in the G League for another season, he might be on his way out, which, we don't really know if that's in the best interest or not. Şengün, man, Şengün's money, dude. The turnovers are not something I'm really looking at too in depth right now. If that were to be a problem as we get a month or two into the regular season and he's turning the ball over left and right, maybe we got an issue there. I'm still very curious to see what Şengün's 3-point percentage or his 3-point shot. I still look to see how improved that is, but you can tell, he plays with this patience, and he played with this patience in his rookie season, but he looks a lot more confident. He looks a lot more rounded out. He's still a very raw basketball player, only 20 years old, but Alperen Şengün's poised for a good season here. They probably still won't be playing him. I gotta say, dude, this is people probably won't like this. It makes sense, but I don't think Şengün averages this upcoming season over 30 minutes a night. Jabari, man. Is he Kevin Durant? 6'11"? 6'11" still just completely shocks me with Jabari. Like, not shocking, like I call it cat, but like we gotta as you're kind of pointing out here, Joe, we got a guy. We got a guy in Jabari. Always great to see, man. We got 44 wonderful people in here. Hit that like button. I appreciate it. Wasn't able to go live yesterday, but Houston Rockets basketball is back. So the daily uploads are back at least. But get ready for live streams at least 2 times a week. I want to start doing live Houston Rocket games, which are always fun. And I want to start doing post games. I feel like post games are just as fun as doing lives. When you win, I guess that might be a little contingent on when you win, because when you get blown out by like 30 points, it's not always a great, live. If you were to live stream a 30-point blowout, it's also not as fun. Want to see LP keep going to that fadeaway middle he was using in Euro ball. Just like Usman Garuba, Şengün a little bit more offensively speaking, balled his ass off in EuroLeague. So you can tell, man. You can tell he's been putting in that work over the summer. Wow, okay. So Rocket Nation is still pretty split on the whole Eric Gordon situation. We got Ricardo saying EG should get a contract extension. The good news about EG is turning 34, he's not looking at a huge amount of money. It just always comes back to, man, we got a really deep team. We got a really deep team on our hands. Garrison Matthews only playing 5 minutes tonight. Lowest minute total on the Rockets team. That's interesting. That might be something to keep your eye out on. Garrison Matthews, 25 years old. He just feels so much older, but I like Garrison. Don't get me wrong, but as I was saying not too long ago, was it something you had to do? I don't think so, but we'll wait and see. What's up, Timothy? Tell me how this is even possible. What? Steven Silas wasn't kidding, man. The Houston Rockets are going to be a lot more difficult to guard this season. And, I don't know how often we're going to be holding teams to 100 points. Like, in just today's day and age, if you hold a team to less than 100 points, if you hold a team to double-digit scoring counts, that's a huge victory. That is a huge victory. With the San Antonio Spurs current roster, considering this is preseason, you could take that both sides. Houston Rockets didn't play their guys too much. The Spurs didn't play them too much. But I don't know how often we're going to hold teams to 100 this upcoming season. The good news is 134 points. That's not going to be what they average this season. But you're going to see a bunch of games just like we did in the second half of last year where the Rockets are scoring 130 plus, easily 120 plus, and things just feel like they're clicking again. But, man, Tari Eason really impressed me tonight. We all had I feel like, I don't want to speak for everybody, right? I feel like we all kind of had this feeling that Tari Eason was going to continue what he was doing in the Summer League, but we just didn't know how much he was going to play. It's just kind of always in the back of your head. Yeah, Tari Eason definitely should play 20 minutes in tonight's preseason game, but is it going to happen? And it happened, and it was just absolutely beautiful, man. I'd love for him to retire Rocket, but he deserves to be on a contending team, just like we did for PJ. These are pretty much exactly my thoughts. That's what I've been saying with Eric Gordon is, this is the last year of his bigger contract, and he's not going to be back on a contract like that next season. He's a guy I wouldn't mind retiring as a Rocket. He's a guy I would love to retire as a Rocket. He's a guy I wouldn't mind if they somehow, for some reason, don't end up trading him. But teams get desperate on trade deadline, and we see it in every sport. A veteran goes out there, tries and get that championship, and maybe he comes back in a year or two. So we'll wait and see with Eric Gordon. I know a lot of Rocket fans have an opinion on Harden entering free agency. I don't even really want to touch on that, but Eric Gordon's a lot more liked right now because he's not forcing his way out, but I'm not trying to get into that. So if anybody has any final closing remarks, it's like, honestly, I feel so blessed right now. We have 50 people right now, the first week of October, the first Houston Rocket. We're watching preseason basketball, man, and we got 50 people in here live. What position is our biggest need? Good question, man. And I think that heading into this season, who was the last reliable small forward the Houston Rockets had? And maybe reliable is the wrong word. Like, who's the last above average? No disrespect to Daniel House, but Trevor Ariza gets me going way more than Daniel House Jr. is. And I think heading into this season, something I was really looking for was a just solidified small forward. And I think we have a perfect combination of guys like Jabari Smith and Tari Eason ready to fill that role. We got point in center and backup power forward. People are very split on Kevin Porter Jr. We're going to see more as guys play more about, Jae'Sean Nix and Tate Washington Jr. Like I said, I still think, as far as a backup point guard goes, it should be Eric Gordon splitting it with either Nix or Tate, and I hope that's what happens. I think that's what will happen. I just hope it happens sooner rather than later. But, the backup center is interesting because I like Bruno. I like Garuba. I just feel like we're pretty – okay, Alan kind of says it perfectly right here. Like, we have an interesting blend at backup center where it's like kind of what Joe's saying right here. Like, if we desperately needed a backup center, if Usman, Willie doesn't end up making the roster, which is looking likely, let's say Usman's either in the G League or he's not producing. Same thing goes for Bruno. They're not ready to give him that solidified backup center role playing 20 a night. You have Boban. I don't really want Boban to be on this team for the entire season, but, if he can provide value. All right, Mr. Johnson. EG said at Media Day he wants to be somewhere he can compete. We need to be looking at potential spots for him by December. Dude, teams like the Lakers, however, if the Lakers had Dude, if the Lakers had one extra draft pick, if they didn't only have 2 first-round draft picks to play with right now, and they didn't have such a limited roster as far as value goes, I feel like Eric Gordon would be traded to either the Cavs, the Lakers. A trade will happen, man, if they see fit, but I also don't want them getting. This is just an example. This doesn't really fit, but something where it's like, imagine the Rockets traded Eric Gordon for Luke Kennard and some other filler. I wouldn't feel great about that because I know Luke Kennard's contract is long and it's fat, and it's not that fat compared to where the money's going right now, but I don't really want a long-term contract where I have to pay this guy money, and I don't really see him being a part of the system. So, Rafael Stone's very smart. He's very strategic, and I would imagine that they'll either be able to find something to work, whether it's a trade or keeping him on the roster. I'm not quite sure. KT, man, Bruno reminds me of Capella. I've been seeing this and hearing this a lot so far in this offseason. So you're definitely not alone. Jae'Sean Tate did not play. Let's try and get an official word on Jae'Sean Tate, but it's not like he was benched or anything like that. Just nursing a sore left ankle. I don't think, we got Jonathan Fiend here. Tate will miss Sunday's game versus the Spurs and this was reported before. This was reported yesterday on Saturday. Tate will miss Sunday's preseason game versus the Spurs with a sore left ankle. Tate would likely play Sunday if it were a regular season game per Fiend. After signing a 3-year deal this offseason, Tate should see a significant role for the Rockets this upcoming season. So that's also another thing you got to keep in mind, man. Jae'Sean Tate was just extended. And Jae'Sean Tate was just extended on a very, very, very team-friendly deal. Very team-friendly deal. So that's what sucks, man. We were just talking. Tate turns 27 in this month. It's not a player I desperately need where it's like, oh, man, if you're over the age of 25, I don't want you on the Rockets long term. It's not like it's that. I don't want to go with KJ just in case, KJ and his dad is, in case that's like actually a whole thing because we don't really know the bottom line. We don't know the situation on that. So this is something we've been talking about for a while. And as Luis is pointing out here, are we better without Tate, man? It's Mr. Johnson follows it up right here. Tate, Eason, KJ. Like, Tate, Eason might just be able to – Eason, Jabari, Tate. I have so many hopes. I think KJ will be a solid role player in this league, but, man, they have some decisions to make. I'm glad I'm not the Houston Rockets GM because – it's not like they're good problems to have. You have too many talented players who deserve this spot. It's a really good problem to have, but just glad I don't have to deal with that problem. And if I do, it's on NBA 2K. But Jae'Sean Tate, as Yugi's pointing out here, he really sets the tone on the defensive end. I feel like he really helps set our culture. Technically speaking, with our roster right now, he's a very long tenured Houston Rockets player. So he's vital. And we also don't know. I mean, Jae'Sean Tate lost a lot of weight in the second half of the season. Jae'Sean Tate's going to be coming into really good shape, I would imagine, starting once we see live basketball the next time. A lot of people will be saying, damn, Jay really slimmed down. He really toned himself out. And if he comes with even a 33% three-point shot, that's something I'll take, man. He's so versatile on the defensive end. Maybe the bench is the better role. That might be the best role for him, where he's kind of not like a point forward, but he's at least a little bit into the offensive playmaking because he can pass. Jae'Sean Tate is a very underrated passer. You guys know this, but if you ask some random dude who kind of knows Jae'Sean Tate, he's not going to know that he's a good passer, but he's a good passer. Does Tio Maladon make the roster? I don't think so. But if he does, I don't have any complaints. We haven't seen him play, though. That's also another thing. We haven't seen Teo play. However, he's really enticing to me. We talked about this on Friday's live stream where I'm a little bit – I'm not biased, but Like, foreign players are very enticing to me. Damn, this is not what you want to hear. We got Marcus saying, didn't Tate say he didn't really work on the three during training camp? That's not what you want to really hear. But anyways, we'll know more of this. Stay tuned. Let's get a quick check on the Rockets' next preseason game. It's next Friday. We got plenty of time to dissect this, analyze it, and everything. So, man, dude, we peaked somewhere around 60 live viewers. We got 54 in here right now, man. If you guys want to stay up to date with my Twitter, follow the Instagram. All the links are down below. But I appreciate y'all so much. I might end up saving my recap video for tomorrow on this game just so we can continue to dissect it and so people can go ahead and watch this live stream. But I appreciate all y'all taking time. It's late Sunday night, man. I appreciate y'all watching this so much, spending your Sunday evenings with me. So get ready, man. We got a lot of Rockets. I got a lot of Rockets content coming. We got a lot of Rockets basketball to be played in this season. So hope you all have a blessed night. Enjoy your Monday, and I'll try and go live at some point tomorrow, but I'll definitely be posting a recap video sometime around midday. Peace.